will this last preseason game factor into Belichick's decision?
I don't believe it will, Skip. I believe Coach Belichick is probably 90% has his mind made up who he thinks is going to start or who he knows is going to start. It's hard for me to believe. Probably, arguably, the most prepared NFL coach in NFL history still is uncertain 2 weeks out from the season starting. I think he went into this, he's saying, you know what? Cam is my starter. In order for Mac Jones to become my starter, he's going to have to vastly outperform Cam Newton. Now, some people say, well, he's vastly outperformed Cam.
Some say that.
Some would say that.
Some in the media in the Northeast up near Foxborough.
Right.
Yep.
Tom Curran, I read a little piece on him, and he believes that it's Mac Jones' job that he's putting this thing to bed. I don't believe that's the case. Now, a lot of things can happen. I believe both guys will probably play a series or two. How much do you deduce from that? Not really certain. Could Cam possibly lose his job, Skip, over the next, say, 8-9 days of practice? I don't think so. My gut, my instinct tells me that Cam Newton is going to be the starter. Now, it's not telling me how long he's going to be the starter, but it's just going to say opening day, Cam goes out there with the number ones. I'm not so sure, Skip. Knowing Coach Belichick, after, I played against him, followed him since I've been in the media, he might not even declare until, he wants you to prepare for Cam and Mac.
Yep.
So he might not even say leading up to whoever they play. I think they play Miami to open today at home.
Yep.
I'm not so sure that he's going to say Cam is the starter or Mac Jones is the starter. But as I sit here right now and I try to look at what happened in the preseason and where this thing's going to go, I'm pretty certain that Cam is going to be the starter. How long Cam remains the starter, that's going to be up to Cam. How well they play, how well they look, because, Skip, they got a tough schedule to get out the gate with. And so I believe this is a 10 or 11 win team. I believe this team can make the playoff. There's no doubt Coach Belichick believes that. Mr. Kraft almost demands it. He said, y'all done spent $160 million of my dollars in this offseason.
Yeah.
I'm going to get some playoff revenue for this kind of spending.
That is correct.
So I believe, I'm going to say right now, Skip, I'm going to say Cam is the starter.
Okay. So, big picture. As I sit back and watch this from a distance, I would not want to be in Bill Belichick's shoes right now.
Okay.
I believe that Bill Belichick, many call him the GOAT coach, is starting to be on a hot seat in New England thanks to that remark from that owner, Mr. Kraft, because he just basically said, hey, I need some bang for my bucks. I did it. They spent $232 total million in free agency.
I shorted him $72 million.
Okay, well, 159 is guaranteed, so that just went out the window in one fell swoop. He signed, the near future away, right? And he plunged into free agency the way I never thought I would see a Bill Belichick need to plunge into free agency, but that's how desperate he was. And he continues to make little big moves because he traded away Sony Michel because they're loaded at running back to get some future picks. And then he traded some of those future picks away to get Sean Wade, the cornerback, because he's got an issue with Stephon Gilmore, and they're not sure. He's on the PUP list right now with some kind of quad injury, but is he holding out or is he really hurt? Hard to know, but he's a problem for him that is a thorn in Belichick's side right now because he's clearly the best DB, but they got a bunch of them. Okay, so now Belichick is sitting back. He got humiliated by Tom Brady last year. I don't care how you slice it. Coach Subway he got eaten for lunch by Tom Brady, basically, because Brady goes to Tampa Bay. It was 7-9. They were called the Succaneers. It's a pandemic. There's no preseason, and you know the rest of the story. On a torn MCL, he leads them all the way to the Super Bowl and wins what turned out to be a home Super Bowl. It's pretty impossible what he pulled off, and yet it heaped new pressure on Belichick, whose team slid into the sunset at 7-9. And they slid because Cam slid last year. He had a sensational start that game 2 night at Seattle. 30 of 44 for 397. Third most yards he's thrown for in his whole career. And that's because the very first 2 games of Cam's career as a rookie were the only 2 above that.
Over 400.
And, were they? And he had a QBR of 77, which is very high. And he ran for 2 touchdowns. And they would have had maybe the win of the year if he just bounced it outside on the keeper at the end of the game, and it was 1st and goal at the 1, but it was last ditch because the clock was about to run out, and he lost a yard instead of scoring his 3rd touchdown rushing of the game. Okay, so we saw the great Cam, and then we saw him just sink into the sunset and finish 30th of 33 qualified quarterbacks in QBR. Not pretty, not a pretty sight. So Cam's not old. He's 32. He's played 10 years. This is year 11. So all of a sudden, here's Belichick, and he has a kid from Alabama he loves. Clearly, he loves him. And the kid is just getting better by the practice, it appears to me. I don't get to watch practice, but that's how it feels, right? He gets better by the snap in preseason games because he was really good at Alabama last year. And again, Coach Belichick, Coach Saban are pretty much joined at the hip. They're like-minded. They're sort of the same guy, right? And they sort of came up together in coaching. I don't know if Belichick has any real close friends, but that's
I would say friend. Saban, if he has a close friend, Coach Saban is it.
That would be it. So clearly, Nick is telling him, hey, this kid can play. He may not have the strongest arm, but he is a tough young man, both physically and mentally, and he will figure it out. If you give him a chance, he'll figure out how to win games. So I look at Mac Jones's numbers last year at Alabama. My God. 41 touchdowns to 4 interceptions.
Sensational.
His QBR was 96, which ranked first in the country. He threw for country-leading 4,500 yards. He completed 77% of his passes.
That's a record.
Whew. And yet, do you discount because he had Devontae and he had Jalen Waddle.
Najee Harris.
And he had Najee. He could toss it out of the backfield. He can really catch it, as we're going to see in Pittsburgh.
First-round offensive lineman.
And Mechie is going to be their star this year, but he was there. So you still had your track team of receivers. And the offensive line was obviously probably the best in the country because it's just loaded with high picks.
Every year, correct.
Okay, so now he comes into camp, and slowly but surely, it looks like he's the future. Well, is the future now? Or Brady's coming to town in, game 4 of the year, okay? So
in about 6 weeks.
Whew. So Belichick is on a hot seat, both literally and figuratively, because he needs to figure out how to live up to the $232 million with the right quarterback. Well, I don't envy this choice because this is a tough one.
But let me ask you a question. Coach Belichick made it abundantly clear that Cam was a starter. Do you believe Mac Jones has been head and shoulders above Cam in the preseason? Because I think that's going to be the determining factor whether or not Coach Belichick is willing to make this move. Has Mac Jones been substantially better than Cam? I don't believe that.
I can't go substantially because the last time I laid eyes on Cam, he was going 8 of 9, and he looked really good.
He looked really good.
Yeah, like I got nothing. I have no complaint. Like I can't criticize anything about it. And is his arm stronger than Mac Jones? Yeah, stronger. Yeah. Did he win an MVP? Yeah. Do I know that Mac Jones can be great in this league? I don't know that for a fact.
Cam's more athletic. You can do more with the playbook than Cam. Now, I believe Mac Jones is more accurate. The way he does it, Skip, is by getting the ball out of his hand quick. Cam is going to buy some time and take off running. Mac Jones is going to use running as a last resort, not as a first option.
Agreed.
This kid, you watched him at that last game he played, Skip, the way he steps up in the pocket, climb the pocket, as they call it, to protect the ball, get the ball out of his hand. He was sensational. But he almost had to be because he had saw the performance that Cam had just put on. So you're following up Cam, Skip, is kind of like an act. You saw the opening, I was like, well, damn, they were that good? I make sure I got to be on my best behavior, too.
I agree. And Mac Jones is the classic, not gym rat, but film rat.
Yes.
And Dante Hightower gave him the highest compliment and said, I was so impressed that he was told that Mac was breaking down tape of their defense in practice so he could be better the next day in practice. And he said, you know what? That scores high points with me for that kid. So he's winning over a lot of the veterans and a lot of some of the, I guess you'd call them key expatriates, starting with Rodney Harrison, that they have endorsed Mac as the starter. Ninkovich has, and we can just go, there have been 4 or 5 of them. So all of a sudden, Damian Woody has said that. Okay, so that will have some impact on Bill Belichick. And also having impact on Bill is the fact that we did have some COVID issue, and I still don't know exactly what happened, but it didn't look good for Cam. And even though Bill defended him a little bit and said he did not violate team rules, clearly he did not get vaccinated. He did get vaccinated. So clearly he violated a unity rule to me, and Belichick knows that. And then
we're a team, we're family.
That's what I'm saying. It's family, and he violated something it's a family bond. You all need to be vaccinated because it's going to give you the best chance to win football games.
Coach Belichick is looking at it. Can I count? I mean, he's unvaccinated. He gets this thing, that's automatic 10 days.
Yep.
And so what if he gets severe symptoms? It might be longer than that. And Skip, remember, we was doing the analysis. Okay, one guy's vaccinated, the other guy isn't.
Okay.
Unless he's just head and shoulders.
Yes.
Light years better than the guy, then you're like, okay, fine, that's cool. But if they've been running neck and neck, the guy that's vaccinated, I'm probably going to lean towards him because I'm probably going to be able to count on him knowing that this COVID is out there and it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Okay. And finally, you read little to nothing into this. I read a little more. But the day after Mac Jones' debut in Foxborough, during which, or as he was walking on the field, he got a standing ovation.
Yeah.
And obviously, everybody roots for the backup quarterback, but he looks like he could be the future. So he played pretty well in his debut, albeit against third and fourth stringers, and got rave reviews. And the next day, coincidentally or not, Cam posts loyalty, comma, I deserve it.
No.
And he said later it was about a family matter, whatever.
Right.
And you buy into the explanation. You're probably right, but all Belichick knows is it's not a good look because it's too coincidental. It sounds like you might be aiming that at the Patriots or the Patriot fans.
Right.
You know, don't you give me any loyalty here?
Well, first of all, Cam Newton's smart enough. He's been around long enough. The last place you expect loyalty is where? If they let Tom Brady go.
They did.
They replaced Drew Bledsoe after they had taken him to a Super Bowl and got a $100 million contract. Just ask some of the guys, from Ty Law to Willie McGinnis to Lawyer Malloy. Logan Mankins, Richard Seymour. Loyalty? What? There is none of that there. There is no sentiment. Coach Belichick is the last coach I would expect to get any sentimentality out of. That's not what it is. It's a win-loss business. Can you help me win right now? Because if you can't, the guy that's behind you that I feel that he can help me win more than you, guess what? He's about to get up in there.
Okay. I said this from the start, and I believe this, that Mac Jones is a better fit for Bill Belichick long-term than Cam Newton.
Oh, there's no question about that, Skip.
And Belichick has never wanted his quarterback, because it wasn't Brady's way, to be a showman on the field. I love to watch Cam, but I loved him in his MVP year at Carolina when some people didn't. It was just he's highly entertaining. Well, that's not the business that Belichick's in. Jerry Jones is in that business. Cam would be great for Jerry Jones. He would love that. He would get a kick out of all of the above. But in this case, I just don't know how long that's going to fly. So if it's 50-50, I say the nod's going to the kid. But to your point, you have to be sure that the kid can take you a little higher this year than Cam could.
Especially at the start of the season, because the last thing, Skip, you want to do is get off to a shaky start and find yourself fighting an uphill battle. It's a lot easier to make the playoff, Skip, when you're probably 3-1, 3-2, 4-1, 4-2, as opposed to vice versa. Because now you got to go 3-0, Skip, just to get to 500. That's why it's such an advantage. That's why when teams start 0-2, how hard it is, Skip, for you to make the playoffs, because now you got to go 2-0 just to get to 500, and basically a quarter of the season's already gone. So the question is to Coach Belichick, is Mac Jones substantially, is he head and shoulders above Cam? Do you believe the first quarter of the season your record would be better with Mac Jones than Cam Newton? Because if you can't answer yes, well, I think you go with Cam. If you answer yes, I believe at the quarter pole, if I start Mac Jones, my record would be equal to or better than with Cam. Well, Mac's your guy.
Okay. What's sticking in Belichick's craw right now is he has to look back at what happened last year. Cam got off to a great start, and they were 2-1 and should have been obviously 3-0. They barely lost at Seattle. Didn't put the exclamation point on it.
Correct.
COVID hit Cam. He missed a week, the Kansas City game. He comes back, they lose 3 in a row. I don't know how much COVID hit him, but it could have hit him pretty hard.
Right.
And then the rest of the way, they're just not very good because they finish out the year going 5-7 with him at quarterback. Well, that's what's lingering in Belichick's mind is, am I going to see more of the same once the real games go?
Right.
Is that, will I get maybe 1 great game, maybe 2 from him, and then a bunch of duds?
That's that could be still in Coach Belichick's mind, but also, Skip, yesterday, Mac Jones did not perform as good in practice as he did the day before.
Well, it sounds like the Giants took it personally because there was so much written and said about what a number he did on them. I think they actually game planned overnight, like, not again, not on our watch.
Take it from somebody that's been on a joint practice, that's lost one of these joint practices, and have Mike come in there and says, I don't know what that was, but that's not going to happen tomorrow. Oh, you best believe.
Okay. So that's fine.
They got pride too now, Skip.
Okay, but what will also linger in Belichick's psyche is what he witnessed firsthand. What was it, 35 of 40 completions the day before with no Cam on the scene.
And gave a little
and
low
gave
five.
him a little low high five because the kid was on his knee.
Hey,
so, okay.
Between me and you, that real nice, son.
Okay, well, he doesn't do that. Those don't come often from him.
He's very stingy.
Okay, so here's my gut feeling. I believe that Belichick will decide he can win more games with Mac this year than Cam because he'll decide that Mac will be more consistent than Cam will be. That whatever you can get from this rookie starter, you'll just keep getting it game after game after game. He will not back off. He will not give in. He will not give up. And he will be unsinkable, unflappable. That if he has a bad quarter, he'll bounce back.
Right.
Where he's got the right makeup for Belichick. So I believe that he'll sit back, but he needs to see more. And that's why this is a weird year with only 3 preseason games. It feels like, and I could be wrong about this, but my gut is that a lot of teams were actually pointing to the last one as opposed to the middle one.
Correct.
Where this one, still with 2 weeks to go before the season starts.
And this is why, Skip, because this would be the equivalent. If you had a 4th preseason game, the 3rd preseason game, now, because, Skip, now it's still 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's the exact same thing.
Okay, so I disagree with your assessment of what might happen on Sunday evening.
Right.
It's at Giants, right?
You believe they both play?
I think they both play, and I think they play a good bit. Now, that'll depend on how they're going and how it looks to Belichick, but I could see it'll be fascinating to see who gets the start. I'm not going to be shocked if Mac Jones gets the start. I'm not going to
see Coach Belichick wasn't no more fake left go right, brother. Yeah. He going to put Mac out there and have, Mac's going to be the starter opening day, and then come opening day, Cam trots out there.
It's possible.
I'm not going to read anything into that.
Okay.
But if they both play, Skip, I believe Cam gets 1, 2, maybe 3 series. Mac probably closes it out to the half, maybe starts the 3rd quarter, and then you bring Brian Hoyer in to finish out the game.
Okay, so the point is, Belichick will not be closely grading Cam's performance. He knows what Cam is and what he isn't.
Correct.
He just knows. You got lots of body of work. I think this kid will get the equivalent of about a half of football. And I think that if he continues to light it up the way he's been, or just to function at the high level that he's functioned at, consistently make good reads and accurate throws, I believe he will cap it off and win the job on Sunday evening.
I'm just going with Cam. Based on this running game with Damian Harris, they traded Sonny Michel. They got this young kid in there from Oklahoma, Skip, who's been sensational.
Trust me, I said this. I tweeted this on draft day when they stole him in the 4th round. I know him inside and out. I know him from watching my Sooners.
Right.
He can be a star if Belichick will let him. And that is a huge part of this puzzle because they're going to run the heck out of it. Listen, Ramondre Stevenson, he can bash you and he can dash you.
Oh, yeah.
He's big and powerful, and he's got speed to him. He's got acceleration to him.
Yeah.
I'm talking about star quality, but Belichick's got to feature him and let him go. And they usually do it more by committee.
Yeah. You're not getting the whole. There's not going to be a situation, Skip. If you go back and look at it over the last probably 15 years, they've been a committee type. Ain't nobody getting no 30 carries. Every once in a while, LeGarrette Blount would get 25 carries, Skip. But more times than not, it was, Burkhead, is this guy, is that guy. They might end up with 40 carries, but you got one guy with 13, one guy with 10, one guy with 5.
I mean, maybe he's the LeGarrette Blount now, but still, he's going to have big impact. And he was the reason that Sony Michel is a Ram.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
I had a feeling that was coming.
And he can also be a reason that he'll be more comfortable going with Mac. It might be.
You're right, but Skip, remember last year opening day, Cam ran for like 75 yards. They ran Miami basically up out of the building. I believe
and
that's
he also watched Cam get battered through the year. It's just hard to take that much punishment after 10 years of it.
Right. But I'm going to go with Cam. I'm still stick with that. I think I said yesterday 52-48 that Cam starts. I'm going to stay with that.
And I'm going with what the Hall of Famer across from me told me, that the readiest rookie quarterback is Mac Jones to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
Not going to be the best of the class, but the readiest.
Yeah, well, I mean, based on from what I've seen from all the guys playing in the preseason, now clearly he has more around him than the two guys the guys that were selected from him.
Yep.
And we're not going to start Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence. He has way more around him than those guys. But I think he's more ready to start than Justin Fields and Trey Lance.
Okay, and that's why I believe he will.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.